They fought for freedom. They fought for justice. They fought for equality. They fought for Bahamians. After years of struggle by freedom fighters, a defining moment in our evolution as a people was birthed. January 10th is a day that belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to all Bahamians. Join us as we recall the historical events that led to majority rule beginning on Tuesday, January 10th through Friday, January 13th, only on the ZNS Network.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, is there an uptick in COVID cases on Grand Bahama? A local medical professional answers that question. Plus, local financial experts warning residents to brace for a tough financial year. And we take a deeper look into the risks of Black women having C-sections. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Simone Davis. Thank you so much for watching. Topping the news tonight, health officials are reporting a slight uptick in COVID-19 cases over the past few weeks. The good news is there have been no reported deaths. Tonight, the Grand Bahama Health Services Clinical Director of Community and Health Services, Dr. Stacey Bevins-Lang, is encouraging residents to follow the COVID-19 protocols. Here's Yolanda Thompson-Everest with the details.
COVID-19 remains a major concern for healthcare workers on Grand Bahama. With an influx of visitors coming to the island and an increase in flu cases, there has been a reported uptick in COVID cases. Dr. Stacey Bevins-Lang confirming that the island has seen about 8 cases last week. And in her opinion, she says these new arrivals are alarming.
We have seen an increased number of cases in the hospital, and this is primarily because if you have to be admitted to the hospital in order to treat the persons appropriately and ensure that they are housed accordingly, and so that we don't have a spread or transmission of COVID throughout the hospital, we have to test persons when they enter the hospital. And so we're just asking persons, please remember to try and follow the basic guidelines. Wash your hands. If you have a cold of any kind, please just wear a mask or do not go to work. Report in and go to the physician and get tested as needed.
The clinical director expressing that persons with different ailments may be at high risk, especially without the possibility of the virus being detected.
Persons who do not have chronic ailments, they may be without any symptoms. It may not affect them the way it may affect, say, my grandmother or our grandparents, the older patients, our babies, our children. And if we follow the news internationally, we would have noticed that there was an increased number of kids that were hospitalized in the past couple months. So it is alarming. We need to be very cautious in our movements.
When asked what actions the public hospital authorities may be taking to control and combat the incoming cases, she states that prevention begins within the healthcare facilities.
We'll have to wear our mask at all times while on premises in the hospital clinics. We also have it's mandatory that patients entering our surrounding or our clinical space, they also are obligated to wear masks. And this is, I think, implemented throughout all of the country. All clinical spaces or healthcare workers, we have to wear the mask. We still follow the rules of wearing additional protective gears as needed. And we do test persons that are entering the hospital and need to be admitted so that we can ensure we too are not helping to spread COVID while among persons who need to seek help while in the hospital.
Dr. Bevins Lang informing that store hours at the COVID-19 Vaccine Center is Monday through Friday at 8:30 to 3 p.m. and Thursdays are for pediatrics. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Well, local financial experts are warning Bahamian families to brace for a challenging financial year, especially for low-income homes. Here's that report.
Whether you're low income, medium income, whatever income level you have, these are some tough times.
That is the sentiments of several financial experts we spoke to who are predicting a tough financial year for low-income Bahamian families. Financial educator Kayleen Newton says there must be some focus on tax reform and social reform in order for the government to make a greater financial impact on Bahamians this year. She reveals the culprit for those empty pockets.
The major thing that really causes our budget to be out of control is spending on grocery and food. And so if we could be very intentional, before you go to the food store, audit your pantry, check out what you have in your fridge, in your freezer, make your meals around that.
Financial planner and CEO of Rags to Riches, Roger Roll, highlighting the harsh reality of some Bahamians living above their means and exceeding their income.
The more fixed your income, the more you need to plan, because it's really the outgo side of things is what you need to focus on.
But while some are calling on the government to do more to help low-income families, Roll says while it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that there are opportunities for Bahamians to make a living, they still need some help from those in positions to assist.
The truth of the matter is we have to do more to help the government. And part of that is those who can help those who are of low income by providing more opportunities for them to get more work.
Newton had this advice on how to manage your budget and avoid experiencing financial woes this year.
Utilize sinking funds or buckets or savings, setting it aside. That's number one. Number two, track your expenses. A lot of us don't like to track. We think we know what we're spending, but we really don't know. Write down every penny you save.
Child abuse continues to be a major concern for the Minister of Social Services and Urban Renewal. Now, the Department of Social Services is moving aggressively to address this issue through a special campaign. Jolanda Thompson Everest reports.
The Minister of Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Obadiah Wilchcombe, speaking to the disturbing amount of domestic and child abuse cases. Of that note, the minister says social services will begin a dialogue to address these issues. However, he is also calling on parents in the home to provide better protection for their kids. After studying the subject for quite some time, Minister Wilchcombe says that social and cultural matters are factors that are leading to these abuse cases.
We're hoping to begin a very strong public relations campaign where we're going to use all spaces in media, whether it's newspaper, whether it's social media, whether it's TikTok, whether it's television or radio. Just talk. Let's get some more talk going on. I spoke with the gender division just last week, and I've asked them to create more dialogue, create more discussions in our country. Let's talk. Let's get the stuff out. Let's stop pretending and deal with the issues that we must face if we're going to make a difference. And of course, you would know that you're talking about in the capital and here in Grand Bahama.
He says that children who have not grown up in comfortable environments are affected, and he is also noting that a portion of these cases are stemming from young adults having children.
I believe strongly that we have to have more communication. I believe strongly that we have to use the media more effectively to communicate to our people. This is not the only way to deal with matters. We have to also find ways in which to cause for more discussions among those persons who first-time parents new parents. The fact is that circumstances develop, particularly with the younger women and younger men who are becoming parents for the very first time.
Speaking to neglect and abandonment, the minister adds that majority of child abuse cases are caused by verbal abuse, which starts the vicious cycle.
Don't forget that verbal abuse is sometimes the word is more stronger than the hit, and the words are so effective when you're dealing with children who are searching for love, and then you tell them something extremely negative, and that begins to shape their minds and shape their thoughts, and the next thing you know, they are headed in a direction, and the cycle then becomes vicious and even more vicious, and it continues and continues and continues. That's why we have to break it. That's why.
In usual cases, a police is called in to begin the investigation of a reported child abuse incident. Following the merit of that case, the decision is based on the Ministry of Social Services if a child should be removed from that home. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Well, there is a reported uptick in C-sections among Bahamian women. Tonight, our Aja Quant takes a deeper look at the factors that lead to cesarean deliveries.
The ultimate goal is safe mommy, safe baby, and we want to do whatever it takes to get you that end result. And sometimes that involves a C-section.
A C-section is a surgical procedure to deliver a baby through the mother's abdomen and uterus. Dr. Shamanique Bodie-Williams, Chief of Services at the Rand Memorial Hospital, says it is an alternative to vaginal deliveries and can occur for a number of reasons.
You have to look at previous delivery information, their current obstetrical status, and then what happens to them in the labor process. And if you run into complications at any particular point or some previous indicators, then that would warrant a cesarean delivery.
But it was a comment on more Black first-time mothers having C-sections that has now sparked a discussion on social media. This as there has been a reported uptick in cesarean deliveries recently at the Rand Memorial Hospital.
As far as our data for the month of December, we did note that our section rate had increased from the previous month from 30% to 50%. We further looked at the causes, and we noted that most of those cases were either emergency cases, meaning that they had an emergent situation that necessitated the delivery in that form to have a good outcome for mom or baby, or they had had previous delivery via the abdomen.
A woman's skin color can affect how she is cared for, according to the obstetrician, but in her opinion, she disputes having that problem in the Bahamas.
I do think that there is an element, but we, fortunately, in the Bahamas, don't encounter that, where there may be some injustices and in terms of management decisions. And so the American Congress of Obstetrics and Gynecology, they have drafted a task force, and they are attempting to address racism and inequality within deliveries.
Noting also that risks may be small, but they do exist. Dr. Bodie-Williams advises expecting mothers to receive antenatal care to prevent conditions that could result in a C-section. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Azure Quant.
Thanks, Azure. Well, after a long Christmas and New Year break, the Grand Bahama Children's Home had an exciting holiday. 21 children receiving numerous gifts and being reminded that the Christmas season is about love and kindness. Here's our Jolanda Thompson Everest.
The year 2022 has been a whirlwind of blessings for the children at the Grand Bahama Children's Home. Executive Director Joan Hutchison says that coming into 2022, the children were treated to amazing trips, monetary donations, and pleasant surprises from their favorite TV characters.
We were very blessed this year to have many people donate, and I guess because the economy seems to be picking up. Also, we had a fundraiser. We've been getting out more in the news as far as PR. So persons were very generous in donating gifts to the kids, both locally and internationally. The people would send me an email. Is there anything in particular that the children would need? What kind of gifts? How old? And we're generous in sending different items for them, whether that be toys and gifts. We also requested, because it was flu season, cold, so they would put together little care baskets with cough and cold and vitamin C and multivitamins, those kinds of things. So I'm very grateful to the community, both locally and internationally, for all they've done with thinking about us and making sure that our kids are good and thriving.
From eating crepes, Christmas parties, and exciting fun days, but most of all, a few of the children were able to spend some quality time with their families.
We had 8 of them that stayed in the home. 13 of them were lucky enough to have persons who volunteered to keep them over the Christmas holiday. And so they were able to spend with families who were vetted by the Department of Social Services and have a Christmas meal, spend with a family, enjoy themselves there, and they will come back on the 2nd, just before school starts. The ones that were here with us, we just made sure that they had a good time also. We had a pajama party on Christmas Day, open to their gifts that were here, did some arts and craft. We had persons to come in and do cookies, decorate cookies with them, and just spend the time making sure that they didn't feel at all left out.
The executive director gives her favorite highlight during the holiday season.
Somebody from the United States actually came. She's a Bahamian, and there's a group of them that come every year. And she came and brought gifts, fed them, they had toys, they did activities. And then all of a sudden, Batman comes. And I look up, and the kids look up, and you hear the music to Batman, and there he is on top of the roof for the kids to see. Now, we've seen Santa Claus, but to see Batman, they were ecstatic. And so he was here for about half hour with them, playing with them, and they will definitely remember that.
Hutchison concluded by thanking donors for their generous gifts. However, she says she would like the public to remember that the Grand Bahama Children's Home doors are open all year round and not only during the Christmas season. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Julanda Thompson Everest.
When we come back, a local pastor recalls the fight to majority rule and its significance to the Bahamian people. That story and more, including the latest in sports, when we return.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Connect Bahamas says, let the home enhancement continue. They're kicking off the new year with 15% off all granite and quartz countertops for the entire month of January at all locations. Freeport, Nassau, Abaco, and Eleuthera. So Grand Bahama, come to our showroom on Queens Highway and choose your granite or quartz countertop at 15% off all month long. Only at Connect Bahamas. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
They fought for freedom. They fought for justice. They fought for equality. They fought for Bahamians. After years of struggle by freedom fighters, a defining moment in our evolution as a people was birthed. January 10th is a day that belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to all Bahamians. Join us as we recall the historical events that led to majority rule beginning on Tuesday, January 10th through Friday, January 13th, only on the ZNS network.
They try to push rich on me. They want to push rich on me. They don't care if I'm the company.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. With Season 3 of the New Life Worship Center Apprenticeship Program set to begin, Chairman Dominic Roche and Senior Pastor Simeon Outen are encouraging parents to get their kids registered. The program caters to boys and girls grades 7 through 12 and offers courses ranging from mechanics to cosmetology. Boasting 400 graduates since 2021, Chairman Roche implores this is a great empowerment tool for young people.
we've actually graduated over 400 persons so far. And what it means to us is that, those kids now have an opportunity to participate and to contribute, after graduation, whether it be as a primary source of income, secondary source, a way to feed your family, even if you want to raise funds to go off to school. Those kids now have an opportunity to do that. In Grand Bahama, as we know, it's not the best economy right now. However, these particular trades, have been around forever.
Noting the program allows the students to be flexible, Pastor Alvin says the feedback from parents has added fuel to ensuring that the program grows in the coming years.
The good thing about it is you can do one discipline this season, and then next season you can continue, or you can move to something else. We keep hearing the credits from parents and the encouragement from guardians about how it is not only from the educational standpoint, it's been a disciplinary tool. So we're excited about this program, and we look forward to those who would be a part of Season 3.
Application forms are available at New Life Worship Center, and those interested can call 602-7550 for more information. Well, as we continue to celebrate Majority Rule Day, we continue our 4-day series reflecting on the events that led to the historical mark in our nation. In tonight's series, Reverend Dr. Keith Russell shares his thoughts on Majority Rule Day as someone who has greatly benefited. Here's Ramiko Knowles.
Not a foot soldier, but a beneficiary. Where were you at the time, and what do you remember most about January 10th, 1967?
I was 10 years old, about 2 months from my 11th birthday, and I could hear the echoes of the conversation around me from the grown-ups. And there was excitement in the air. You can feel the excitement. People were excited about what had happened in the country. It's like the movie with Kinsey from when he says, give us free, give us free.
You said you were 10 years old at the time. When did you begin to appreciate the significance of this day?
I think that would have been in my later years in high school and then going into college, to recognize how that one event had a domino effect to the building of the nation. Sometimes because of political reasons, we like to try to, play down or downplay or disavow the significance of the day, because the FNM would say, well, that's a PLP thing and so forth and so on. This is a nation thing. All of us, whether we are PLPs, FNMs, BDBs, whatever we call ourselves these days, all of us who live in this moment benefited from majority rule. All of us. And the only way we're going to come, I've said it on the radio, the only way we become one Bahamas if we tell the truth about who we are.
What is that truth?
I grew up on an island where you had to live on the outskirts. You couldn't live in Freeport. You worked here, but after you finish working, get out. I grew up on an island where the police force were foreigners from Trinidad, Jamaica, those other kind of places, that even the police force was limited to young Bahamians. Now we have Bahamians, running the Bahama police force. We have the defense force. All of these things, they were not available to us. I remember standing up and looking at the planes flying, pilots. I'm so proud when I go on a plane now, Bahamas Air or Western Air, and see young Bahamians flying these planes. That was not open to us. They didn't think that we had the natural endowments to be pilots or to be anything else other than total water and years of wood. And I think Majority Rule Day says, listen, we are all here in this together. Let's build a nation for all people, for white Bahamians, for black Bahamians, for all who are Bahamians in this nation.
And what would you want people to know most about Majority Rule?
the social revolution that happened as a result of majority rule has not been seen since. Now, it's our responsibility, therefore, as the recipients that I am, the beneficiaries of that great event, to continue to tell the story as to why it is so that we are where we are now, and to talk about continuing the journey that we have obtained the political power in this nation. Now we must go continue the journey for economic power, that we must own this. This is our Bahamas. It's ours. We have to determine its future, and that's what the majority rule did. It allowed us to determine our own destiny. It allowed us to really put in the foundations for democracy, as Lincoln would have said, that government of the people, for the people, and by the people shall not perish from this land.
Your Wednesday Check on Sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to yet another exciting edition of sports right here in the North. We have quite a few updates for you. Let's begin with basketball. Grand Bahamian pro basketball player Willis Mackey Jr. signed a full-year contract over in France. Willis started the season unsigned to a long-term deal, but after 3 months, the team has decided to open up a roster spot for the 6'7" forward.
Basically, I was sitting on the bench and just watching, and it was very unfortunate. So during the offseason, when I was speaking with teams, the only thing people were talking about was my health. Will I be healthy? This was my whole offseason. And coming here, they gave me the chance. They signed me here just for 3 months, initially as a medical replacement because they had an extra spot. And I was able to come here and contribute immediately. And they were so impressed with my abilities and what I was able to bring to the team and offer even to the younger players on the team that they extended me and they offered me a contract, and something that I couldn't deny. And, you know, I'm very happy about it and very blessed and very thankful, and I really look forward to seeing what's coming at the end of the season. We're in a unique position once again because we're a younger team, but we're a hungry team and we're up and coming, and I'm very excited.
Willis Mackey is also a member of the Bahamas senior men's national basketball team. Switching gears now, the Toronto Blue Jays traded Chavez Young yesterday to the Pittsburgh Pirates. The outfield prospect was traded in exchange for right-handed pitcher Zach Thomas. The 25-year-old Grand Bahamian split last season between Single-A Dunedin and Triple-A Buffalo Bisons. He hit .237 with 6 homers and 22 RBIs over 70 combined games. Also in sports, Miles Turner scored 29 points, Buddy Hield had 21, and the Indiana Pacers capped the first half of their regular season schedule with a 116-111 comeback victory over the Charlotte Hornets. On the other, Pacers are 23-18 with their next matchup against the New York Knicks. Also, primary school girls and boys basketball began today at St. George's Gymnasium. We'll have all those highlights and updates for you tomorrow. That's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Welcome to the My Professor and More, where our focus is to provide the innovation and provide the guidelines for our talented students in a variety of subject matters, from primary school all the way to university level.
Because of the Math Professor, my mathematical and public speaking skills have truly elevated.
At the My Professor and More, we see our students as being family members. Even though we strive in mathematics and public speaking, we cover all of those areas whereby students may be finding challenges. At the Math Professor, we strive for excellence. We strive for innovation. And through the techniques that we use, we continue to make a difference in the lives of hundreds of students each year.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. We welcome you to be a part of the family.
It's
the Bahama Brass Band, live in concert under the patronage of the Honorable Philip Brave Davis KC, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The Bahama Brass Band presents That Will Be Close, Sound of Harmony #9, The Road to 50. Join us as we celebrate in song at 5 p.m. on Sunday, January 29, 2023 at Jubilee Cathedral. Tickets are $20. Come out and join us on the road to 50.
Ice the coconut got this, cocoa skin driven madness, juiciness ice the this, sweet like sugar in a dripping like ice, honey, addict, all the men love me, sweet like sugar in a watch it go ba-ba-ba-ba, watch it go ba-ba-ba-ba, watch it go ba-ba-ba-ba, watch it go ba-ba-ba-ba, sweet like sugar in a
new Click Platinum flavor, flavored beers with a kick of rum, make it platinum.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Saunders, you are our Facebook friend of the day. The crew from Fire Road Andress say they are wishing you all the best. Also sending a special birthday shout out to Talisha Sands. Enjoy your day, and we also say a special happy birthday to Talisha Sands Pinder. We thank you for always watching. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's newscast. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Simone Davis, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. The legal year opens, officials touting an 84% conviction rate. A new industrial agreement signed. The former Youth Sports and Culture Minister questioned by police. And in sports, Carifta 50 gets a major sponsor. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is linked up by BTC. Whether it's chatting, gaming, content creating, or working smart to get things done, link up to stay connected with BTC.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jiminita Swain, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks so much for tuning in. The head of the judiciary detailing initiatives and changes on tap for the legal system over the next 12 months. During the opening of the legal year today, the initiatives are part of ongoing efforts to enhance the administration of justice across the country. Fern Carey reports.
Chief Justice Ian Winder reproving those who place the blame for all the challenges in the legal system at the feet of the judiciary. He indicated that the criminal courts bore the brunt of the pandemic, with a requirement for jury trials significantly slowing the process, among other issues.
It is unhelpful to attack the judiciary and suggest that the courts are responsible for all that ails the criminal justice system, or that we are not completing trials. Not only is the suggestion wholly inaccurate, it ignores the known realities in the criminal courts and in our countries. In the past year, a considerable amount of knowledge have been entered by the Office of the Department of Public Prosecutions. Most of these have been entered after the trial has begun or on the morning when the trial was commenced, often causing considerable loss of court days. Judges do not live in ivory towers or hold cloistered views of the country in which we live. We attend the same stores, churches, and public places as every member of the society. Our children and our families live in this society.
Now, the Chief Justice acknowledged that there are some challenges to the criminal justice system, whether it is staff shortages or a small criminal bench. However, he says the solution is a corporate approach to addressing the issue.
An official statement as to the successful candidates will be released shortly. 2 judges will be assigned to the commercial and civil divisions, who will be appointed with effect from the 1st of February 2023. Another judge who will be assigned to the criminal division will be appointed with effect from the 1st of February 2023. The 4th judge, who will be assigned to the family division, will be appointed with effect from the 1st of March 2023. And the 5th judge, who will be assigned to the northern region, will be appointed with effect from the 1st of May 2023. He will be assigned to both the civil and criminal divisions.
Reflecting on the 2022 legal year, the head of the judiciary said there were leadership changes in the court system with the retirement of some judges, while others joined the bench, and some judicial and legal officers left to pursue other interests. He also verified there will be changes to the makeup of the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court this year as well. Acting Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, the Honorable Jomo Campbell, noted that plans are being finalized for a new judicial complex and a new arbitration center. He also pointed out that the digitization exercise in the Registrar General's Department continues, confirming that that department will be relocating to its new home in the Financial Center on Shirley and Charlotte Streets by the end of February. He then made this announcement.
We are proud to announce, my lord, that we as a country have now attained technical compliance ratings of compliant and largely compliant in all 40 FATF recommendations as they relate to international anti-money laundering, countering of terrorism, and proliferation standards. The Bahamas becomes only the second jurisdiction in the Caribbean, North and South American regions to attain such high standings in the sixth in the FATF Global Net.
Now, during the proceedings, a moment of silence was observed in memory of retired Justice Roger Gomez, who passed away on Monday of this week. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Fern Carey.
The nation's top cop confirming that former youth minister under the minister administration, Lanisha Roll, and her husband are currently being questioned by police. Commissioner Clayton Fernando would not say what allegations or potential charges the couple is facing, but he did say this.
This time they are being questioned. They came into custody yesterday. They were released pending last night to return this morning. So at this hour, I believe they are still speaking to investigators at this time. I can't say exactly what the officers put to them, but you know what was circling in the media. They are speaking to them at this time.
Additionally, Commissioner Fernando says 2 suspects are in custody in connection with that home invasion, robbery, and sexual assault of a woman in the Marshall Road area Sunday morning. The incident occurred shortly after 5 a.m. when the 3 armed men entered the residence where a man, a woman, and another family member were at home. The robbers tied up the occupants and robbed them of an undisclosed amount of money before sexually assaulting the woman and fleeing the scene.
With respect to the matter at Marshall Road, we have 1 male individual in custody. He was arrested last night by investigators. He is assisting us at this present time in locating 2 others. During the search of his residence last night, we also found a loaded pistol and a vehicle believed to have been used in the commission of offense was also towed from that residence and is presently on the compound of the police.
Commissioner Fernando says they are also making significant progress relating to the sexual assault of a 14-year-old girl. The incident reportedly took place at her home in eastern New Providence.
The 14-year-old, the parents, it came to our attention through the parents that the 14-year-old was seeing an adult male. A 19-year-old was seeing this 14-year-old. She is assisting us in trying to locate these individuals. You know, sometimes these young girls, they will tell you one thing, but will not give us the full truth. But we are probing our sexual offenses unit in trying to locate this 19-year-old, and we will be able to bring some closure to that matter as well.
Police taking a juvenile male into custody earlier this afternoon after officers seized him with a high-powered weapon found in his possession. Our news team was on the scene in the Centerville area when the arrest took place. Police say they will provide more information on this matter tomorrow. Well, Operation Ceasefire officers confiscated a black pistol with a quantity of ammunition from an outside toilet in the area of Dorset Alley shortly after 11 o'clock yesterday morning. A 27-year-old male suspect of Dorset Alley was arrested as a result of the discovery. Police investigations continue. Also, Operation Ceasefire officers arrested a 45-year-old man of Eastern New Providence after a firearm and quantity of ammunition was found at his residence shortly before 6 p.m. yesterday. Officers executed a search warrant at a residence on Donahue Terrace when the discovery was made. The suspect remains in police custody and is assisting police with their investigation. Police arrested a 39-year-old male resident of Ida Street North after he was found in possession of a quantity of suspected marijuana that has an estimated weight of 11 pounds with an estimated street value of $11,000. Operation Ceasefire officers were tipped off shortly after 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon and discovered a quantity of suspected marijuana after a search of the residence. Officers also seized $29,988, which is suspected to be proceeds of crime. An investigation into the matter continues. Well, it took 2 administrations coming to office to seal the deal, and that was done today between the Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union and the government. The new industrial contract was penned this morning in the boardroom at the office of the Prime Minister. All stakeholders are calling the agreement a win-win situation. Carla Palmer reports.
8 years is how long the government and executives of the Bahamas Public Service Union, BPSU, representing Airport and Allied Workers Union, have been negotiating this contract that expired since 2015.
I think it's not where you start, but that's how you end up and where we are today.
We at the Airport Authority, our most important asset from day one at our board meeting, it's the employees. And we wanted to make sure that the employees were well taken care of. It took a long process to get it. It was like doing surgery.
Still, Managing Director of the Airport Authority, Peter Rutherford, and Chairman of the same, Paul Bevans, along with President of the BPSU representing Airport, Airline, and Allied Workers Union, Kingsley Ferguson, are thrilled with this deal.
We would like to now move forward and foster a great working relationship with the union. The union, they're not our enemies, and we want them to understand that.
This morning, we're just elated and excited that it's being concluded so that we can move on. And I, too, the Bahamas Public Service Union views the bigger picture. Now we can get down to the brass tacks of ensuring that the visitors in this country have an awesome travel experience.
Each side did not get everything what they wanted, but I think this represents a banner day where all sides can come together and come to an agreeable position.
Among benefits snagged by the union in this agreement, 4 increments and uniform allowance.
Well, the increases inclusive as well of the annual increment, I'm of the view that the agreement is a fairly good one.
This contract will expire in June of 2025. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Well, the BPSU president wanted more in benefits for his members and that of hazardous allowance, but that escaped his grasp in this latest industrial agreement this time around. However, Ferguson is vowing to pursue the matter.
We have our reasonings why we really are adamant about that. At some point, we would have agreed, and then when this was presented, you know, that area was removed, and so the insurance coverage has always been there. We were satisfied as well that there has been traction on the uniform, which was already in the agreement, and so now, over a period that has elapsed, we now have some traction in that particular area.
Well, Ferguson also spoke to some outstanding negotiations with government. As president of the BPSU, he represents some 20,000 workers and tells the media he is eager to have the matter resolved so that those union members could receive their entitlements.
We haven't been at the table yet. We had an introductory meeting, and hence we would have forwarded communications submitting the names of our team members and are waiting for the government to indicate when we can get started. We had indicated that we would have been ready from the 23rd of December. We received a communication from the government indicating that they would have submitted a final proposal. Could I suggest today that there's no finality in negotiations until we reach an agreement? And so we're very concerned in that particular regard, and we are awaiting a response from the government on when we can commence those negotiations and sit like all the other unions would have sat and arrived at an amicable solution.
Well, officials at the Airport Authority admit to breathing a sigh of relief following that computer glitch that temporarily crippled the airline industry in the United States, resulting in a considerable number of cancellations. The incident was reportedly resolved shortly before 10 o'clock this morning, and Chairman of the Airport Authority, Paul Bevins, is relieved that the Bahamas escaped relatively unscathed.
There were concerns prior to this, but we heard right before we started that it's being canceled. So everything is back to normal. Yeah. And we had a situation the other day at, I think at LA, where Miami had a situation with their towers or their computers, so we had some delays. So persons thought there was something going on at our airport that we were doing. But again, that was something on the U.S. side.
Managing Director at the Airport Authority, Peter Rutherford, says had any issues arose in that regard, the Bahamas would have been prepared.
Ever since 9/11, COVID, we have a national response where from time to time situations like these arise. And we do have contingencies and plan in place that we already had in place should the FAA interruption have been delayed.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. More news in a moment.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this process.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet's so fast, I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet's so fast, I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine's so fast, when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine's so fast, when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
But it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Because they were on sale, Keisha bought these umbrella shoes without thinking. Literally, without thinking. Hungry for deals? Come and satisfy that hunger at KFC before doing something crazy. Snack Box for only $5 with a piece of juicy KFC fried chicken, creamy mashed potato, and the buttery biscuit. A finger-licking good deal.
Trouble, it might drag you down. If you get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you. At the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
2 pieces of legislation, the Miscellaneous Written Law Rectification Order 2022 and the company's Winding Up Specification and Regulatory Laws Order 2022 were laid in the House of Assembly during a brief sitting Wednesday morning. It was the first sitting for 2023 of the body that has now been suspended until next Wednesday at 10 a.m. Leader of Government Business in the House and Member of Parliament for West, Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Honorable Obi Wolscombe, previewed what's expected next week.
Reminder to all members of the House that we are to attend the annual ecumenical service next week, Wednesday, the 18th. Begins at 11 o'clock. Bethel Baptist Church, Meeting Street. But our session will resume at 10 next week. We will have communications and we'll have a break, and then we'll come back after the church service in the afternoon session.
Well, during the abbreviated session, opposition leader and member of Parliament for Marcos City, Michael Pintard, voiced some concerns.
We've had a conversation, Madam Speaker, about the fact that the second Wednesday, which is question and answer period for the opposition, that we're consistently missing it. And I got the distinct impression that in our sidebar there is a general agreement that on one of the other Wednesdays that we would be able to have the question and answer period. Is it permissible that we can then do that in the course of the Parliament meeting next Wednesday, that we address the question and answer period?
Madam Speaker, we intend to stick to the rules of the House. All outstanding questions we do intend to answer. I cannot commit to outside of the regular scheduled time, but be assured that we will answer your questions.
Well, digitization is also paramount for government in 2023. In fact, Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Alcides, believes it will propel the country's ease of doing business ratings.
This year, we have an objective to put about 100 other government services online completely, where you can, from application to collection of whatever document or approval, you can get that online. And so we're moving ahead with the digitization project that is being funded by the IDB. The idea is to get as many government services on as possible, so you eliminate the need for people to get in a car, go in traffic, go and line up somewhere. You can do it right at your desk or even from your phone.
The ultimate goal, though, is to ensure all Bahamians can efficiently and effectively access government services online.
Complaints we get are things like business license and being able to get that in a speedy manner. We've beefed up and given more resources to that department. So this year, this season, we're coming up into renewal season, and so we'll be monitoring that to make sure that we can get those things out as quick as possible. Some other government services, when it comes to things like company and corporation, we're addressing that. We believe the key is to put as much of it as possible online, where people can actually, from the comfort of their office or their home, make application, upload documents, and get approvals.
Well, the Ministry of Finance setting the record straight on media reports on what they say are false assertions about the ministry's proposal to require electronic submissions of all customs documents. Finance officials confirm that the Customs Management Act authorizes Customs Comptroller to require customs documents submitted in format designated by him or her, dispelling the assertion that the Ministry of Finance is directing brokers and importers to a particular software vendor, which would dramatically increase costs to importers or force smaller brokers out of business. Finance officials verified that the click-declare system facilitates electronic data interchange, which dramatically lowers the broker and customs department's operational cost. In fact, since last year, June, less than 10% of the transactions utilized this process and were instead submitted through user interface described as time-consuming and error-free. Independent estimates place the potential annual revenue loss from user interface errors at more than $50 million. The Ministry of Finance is planning to roll out 2 EDI system programs, one for licensed brokers and simplified version focusing on commonly imported goods for others. Well, the Bahamas and Vietnam secured diplomatic relations through the signing of a joint communique last week. Permanent representative to the United Nations, His Excellency Stan Smith, represented the Bahamas at the event. Vietnam and the Bahamas agreed to establish diplomatic representation at the ambassadorial level under the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and the 1963 Vienna Convention on Consular Relations. The Vietnamese ambassador stressed that both countries share many common viewpoints and stances on regional and global issues at the UN and other multilateral forums. Both countries agreed to increase mutual visits and share information to learn about the country's strengths and cooperation potential, especially in economy, trade, investment, tourism, banking, information technology, and agriculture. While still no definitive decision from the government regarding a 30% fare increase by the Bahamas Taxi Cab Union. For several months, the union has agitated for the increase intended to offset inflationary changes throughout the economy. But on Wednesday, Transport Minister, the Honorable JoBeth Colby Davis, says while the request has not advanced to Cabinet, there has been no update from the union following postponed discussions last November. With no new date set, she remains open to direct discussion, but cautions the union to discontinue what she calls a level of disrespect in the media.
We told them we'll advise us when they return from Abaco, when they're available, and I don't think I've seen any communication since then. I could be wrong. I checked my phones. I checked my emails. I didn't leave anything on read, so I don't know if there's anything that came, but I'm open to meet with the union. I'm okay to discuss what other issues they may have, but what I would not stand for is the continued disrespect that comes every time the union speaks to the press. That's not how I think we should run the business of the country. It should be with respect.
In other news, Mount Olive Baptist Church Senior Pastor Reverend C.B. Moss is in a medically induced coma following a health emergency at the Majority Row service on Tuesday. Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Dr. Michael Darville, rendered initial assistance to Moss, who is currently at Doctors Hospital. There still remains no cure for HIV, but there are a number of advancements in the way of treatments and research. On the heels of HIV Awareness Month in December, Director of the National Infectious Disease Program, Dr. Nakia Forbes, shares what work towards a cure looks like.
First, being on effective medication can help keep the virus under control in a person's body who's living with HIV. The virus will not be replicating. And so that's going to help that person's immune system a lot. The thing is, the HIV virus can still be in places in the body. It's called reservoirs. Certain cells that are not actively replicating, but they are there. And so what we find is that when people who are on HIV medicine stop their medication, for the most part, that their viral load, the amount of virus in the blood, the HIV virus in the blood, becomes something that can be measured and detectable again. And so it means the person will get sick and it's transmissible.
Dr. Forbes stressed that if those reservoirs are eliminated or exposed, that could demonstrate one way a cure could be looked at.
Certain drugs that might boost the immune system. And these drugs are called BNABs, broadly neutralizing antibodies. People who have HIV, they do produce these broadly neutralizing antibodies, but they're produced in very small quantities that cannot get rid of the virus long term. And so those drugs are being studied in people who are living with HIV to see if they can be used in combination to try and cause a remission of HIV without treatment. So that's one set of those drugs. Another very interesting piece of work is that it is being studied where if you give people with early HIV infection, combination HIV medicines at an early stage, can that help to prevent the reservoir from forming or to keep the virus in remission? And so it is being studied where HIV medication could be given to young babies when they first contract HIV infection to see if that can help.
It's now time for the weekly poll question, and this week we're asking, who do you think is ultimately responsible for addressing juvenile delinquency? A, parents, B, government, C, both. To participate, simply log on to our website, www.znsbahamas.com, as well as any of our social media platforms to answer the poll's final results will be aired on Friday. As always, thanks for participating. The National Report returns in a moment. Stay with us.
Tourism today. Bahamas tourism today.
day, you show your clients the great value of the Sandals experience that brings healthy occupancies to the Sandals properties. You know everything there is to know about the Sandals brand, and I'm sure you let them know that the Bahamas is the only country that have 2 Sandals experiences on 2 separate islands, or combine the 2 islands for a unique Sandals vacation. Tonight, it's all about Sandals. We have a lot of reasons to believe that 2023 will be a great year for tourism. But the most compelling reason to be optimistic is because of the partnership that we have with you. This conference is a testament of the partnership. Gary, we value, we appreciate you. We appreciate you bringing your team to the islands of the Bahamas. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you and this amazing sales force will tell the entire world that it's better in the Bahamas.
Have you been denied a U.S. visa and don't understand why? Have you been turned away from the U.S. border without an explanation? Maybe you've had a prior arrest or conviction and you're not clear on how to move forward at this point. Call our office. We may be able to help. 954-449-1833.
What if I told you that the future is here? That is not some magical door we walk through, but a place we create. It's home. The place where you can download a 2-hour movie in seconds and stay connected to loved ones even when traveling far from home. The fastest, most secure, and reliable way to stream the internet, so you can do what you want, whenever you want. Where internet moves at lightning speeds, smoother and more reliable than anything you've ever seen. This future-proof technology can take you to worlds that you can only imagine. That's the power of Alive Fiber. The future is here. The future is home. The future is Alive Fiber.
Let's make 2023 our best year yet. Super value and quality supermarkets. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Best value whole kernel corn, 15 ounce, $1.09. Hunt's ketchup, 32 ounce, $2.89. Sweet mangoes, 2 for $3. Bone-in chicken breasts, $1.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at super value and quality supermarkets.
During 2022, Family Guardian was honored to provide tangible assistance to numerous Bahamian communities, organizations, and charities, including the Bahamas Kidney Association, Bahamas Humane Society, Bahamas Crisis Center, Stapleton School, Salvation Army School for the Blind, Nurses Association, Persis Rogers Home for the Aged, Grand Bahama Children's Home, 4D Stallions Track Club, Rhythm and Youth Rake and Scrape Band, Cancer Society of the Bahamas, Reach Out Youth Organization, Falcon Boys Club, Royal Bahamas Police Force Dependents Trust, PACE, Sister Breast Cancer Support Group, the Down Syndrome Center, Great Commission Ministries, and Every Child Counts Special Needs School. Our record of corporate giving speaks for itself, and our commitment to positively impact the communities where we work and live remains a foundational principle for our company. As the year draws to a close, we would like to say thank you to our clients and a Merry Christmas and a healthy, happy, and prosperous New Year to all from the management and staff of Family Guardian.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
The Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation made history last fall with its groundbreaking partnerships with the Milo Butler Group of companies to provide a host of locally made food products for Bahamian shelves in stores nationwide. Fast forward 2 months and the Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources and Family Island Affairs, the Honorable Clay Sweeting, says the goal remains minimizing imports while encouraging subsistence and commercial farming among locals. Government's aim is to once and for all tackle the issue of high import volume and cost to the country and essentially equip local producers with the tools to produce and best possible prices.
We have a lot of Bahamians that has been creating jams, jellies, and other add-on products for a long time. So we're glad to be able to facilitate this transaction between the people in the production aspect of agriculture to help to facilitate this relationship. So we'll continue to monitor it to get a real sense of where we're at. I'm thinking in a few months we'll be able to see how much things we've seen on the shelf. But we're excited about the relationship. We're looking at not just helping to create excitement, but crafting policy and initiatives that help to create a national agricultural policy that helps to encourage even more food development. We've seen over the past year a lot of farmers, young persons, women get involved in the sector. We've had persons who have used the Climate Smart grants to help to reduce food, electricity costs, to increase food production. So we're on the right track.
Well, the Bahamas will be featured at the 49th Annual Stewart Boat Show in the sailfish capital of the world this weekend. It's branded as one of the top 20 events in the Southeast. The Association of Bahamas Mariners will once again host the Bahamas Pavilion at the largest boat show on Florida Treasure Coast that features more than 200 exhibitors displaying technology, gear, hundreds of boats in water and on land, including the latest models of motor yachts, cruises, sports fishing boats, and more. Outstanding in the Field, one of the world's premier traveling restaurants, will set its table for the first time in the Bahamas on the pristine white gold sands of Lighthouse Beach, Paradise Island, as a part of its 2023 winter tour. Bahamian celebrity chef and Bahamian cuisine ambassador chef Simeon Hall Jr. will have the distinct honor of being the first Bahamian guest chef to curate the menu and cook for the restaurant's dining event. Hall's curated menu will feature fresh, locally sourced ingredients and Bahamian fare. Outstanding in the Field has been featured internationally in renowned publications such as Vogue, Forbes, the New York Times, Food and Wine, and People magazine, just to name a few. Well, in just a few weeks, the 13-time award winner and 18-time nominee Gombe Kids will release its latest season, this time with the support of a new U.S. partner, production studio in association with New York Times best-selling author and producer Lauren Oliver. The producers of Gombe Kids care about keeping the show as Bahamian and authentic as possible and have now employed over 250 Bahamians and continue to make history as it rises to become the #1 kids Caribbean TV show in the world. Gombe Kids is the first Bahamian show to be a VFX animation and live action hybrid TV series, as well as portrays key moments of Bahamian history and tells folklore tales that have never been told on screen. The new episodes will premiere at Fusion Superplex at a star-studded event on January 21st. This event is open to the public. As we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
First we plan, then we innovate, then we build. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we are committed to quality, to safety, and to service. We know that the road you take is just as important as your final destination. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, it is our job to make sure the road and the ride are as smooth as possible. From striping roads to building them, we are the right choice, the trusted choice, the only choice to help you build your tomorrow.
For all of you who didn't know, the centralized collection center can be found in the Town Center Mall on Blue Hill Road. After entering the Commonwealth Bank entrance, you will take a left and walk to the end of the hallway and then turn right. My Gateway signage will point you right to the friendly staff who are ready to assist your needs. Centralized, safe, and super easy. Open Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A brand that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
The public is being advised to stay away from the area where the MV Onega traveler vessel sunk off Abaco as the Ministry of Transport and Housing and other government stakeholders continue to investigate the matter. The primary focus is to ensure that salvage operations are conducted in a safe manner and that the marine environment is protected. Overseeing the salvage operations is Resolve Marine, who has reported to transport officials that the cargo remains submerged and consists of 3,119 tons of steel coils and 4,505 tons of ferrix in bulk. Meantime, divers continue to inspect the sunken vessel and booms remain in place and continue to hold, and efforts to remove the fuel continue. It's now time for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jiminita. We're under mostly clear skies. The temperature at 75 degrees, relative humidity 59%. We have north-northeast winds at 8 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,020.7 millibars. That's 30.14 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the Family Islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 72 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll, Key, and Marsh, Barbacoa, the Berry Islands at 75. Also, Alistan, Bimini, 75 degrees. 75 is also in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera, Black Point, Exuma, Kemps Bay, South Andros, and Fresh Creek in Central Andros. Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, 76 degrees. Georgetown, Exuma, 77 degrees. 77 in Ragged Island, Clarence, Stanley Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, and Acklands. Matthew Tiny Nag was 78, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 79 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. In the northwest and central islands tonight, northeast to east winds, the speeds just around 10 to 15 knots. They will be falling light and variable at times with the wave heights around 2 to 4 feet. High tide, 10:51 tonight for the southeast Bahamas. Northeast to east winds at 12 to 18 knots and the wave height 3 to 6 feet, and that constitutes caution flags for the southeast Bahamas tonight. And then tomorrow, Thursday, in the northwestern parts of our country, those winds continue to rotate clockwise, becoming southeast at 10 to 15 knots, 2 to 4 feet wave heights, high tide 11:03 in the morning with the low tide at 5:30 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, with caution flags maintaining in the central and southeastern parts of our country. On Friday, in the northwestern islands, we're going to have a front system heading our way, and the winds are going to be south to southwest ahead of that front. But late evening, early night, that front will go through, and those winds will swing out of the northwest. But the speeds will be 12 to 18 knots for the greater part of the day, with the wave heights at 3 to 6 feet. High tide on Friday will take place at 11:44 in the morning with the low tide at 6:10 in the afternoon. And for the central and southeastern islands on Friday, southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Shout, I had fire and brimstone coming out of my mouth. I'm exhumed. There's something, oh, yeah, man.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Want to have a sweet new year? Spend a minimum of $12 on any Hershey's Kisses or chocolate and take your receipt to Pritchard's on Robinson Road. You could win up to $2,500. There'll be 9 winners. Enter today.
Here's to a fresh start in 2023. Super value and quality supermarkets. Livy's Vienna sausage, 4.6 ounce, $1.19. 123 cooking oil, 33.8 ounces, $3.99. Mott's apple juice, 64 ounce, $4.99. Bar S Classic or meat franks, 12 ounce, 2 for $3. Party chicken wings, 3.5 pound bag, $1.43 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at super value and quality supermarkets.
We just got the new fiber internet speed bump. Now my internet so fast I can watch 2 4K movies, play video games, and browse on my computer at the same time.
Yeah, my internet so fast I could download a whole season of shows before my noodles run cooking.
Mine so fast when I go to church online, service actually over early.
Mine so fast when I'm working from home, 5 o'clock, come before 3.
Sound like you got this BTC fiber internet speed bump like me.
And it's so fast, I had to have it.
Current fiber internet bundle customers now have as much as 3 times the speed. Totally free. Link up with BTC.
Are you a contractor or new homeowner? Maybe you need a few pieces of lumber for your DIY projects. Welcome to Capital Lumber, the newest building materials company in the Bahamas. Located on Parkgate Road, Nassau, helping you to maximize your savings on lumber, cement, shingles, tools, and much more. Your one-stop shop for all your building essentials. With free delivery to the mail booth, visit us today. Capital Lumber, build strong.
They fought for freedom. They fought for justice. They fought for equality. They fought for Bahamians. After years of struggle by freedom fighters, a defining moment in our evolution as a people was birthed. January 10th is a day that belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to all Bahamians. Join us as we recall the historical events that led to majority rule beginning on Tuesday, January 10th through Friday, January 13th, only on the ZNS Network.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Wednesday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. The road to Carifta 50 is well underway. While athletes and coaches alike are hard at work training for this year's games, stakeholders doing their part to secure the finances necessary to ensure the success of the games. Earlier today, the Bahamas Association of Athletic Associations, along with NACAC and the local organizing committee, announcing that it had secured major corporate sponsorship for the event in NUA insurance agents and brokers who donated $50,000 to the cause.
NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers is proud to be a gold sponsor of the 50th Carifta Games. Our $50,000 sponsorship is a reflection of our commitment to the shared goals and spirit of the Games, and we are happy to partner with the organizers in their efforts to deliver an unparalleled experience for the athletes, spectators, and fans who will fill our stadium, and for those watching from home.
I'm equally proud to learn that NUA is so excited to become a part of what we call the greatest track and field event in the world at the junior level, the largest track and field event, Carifta. And I believe that your contribution today, you will see exponential return from this event.
The Carifta family is about 28 countries, give or take. And so while this is specific to the Bahamas for the support of the Carifta Games, I want you to know that on behalf of the entire NACAC family, we appreciate your involvement in becoming a major sponsor of this event.
On the track itself, coaches and athletes alike are confident that the 242 will indeed put on a show.
I've seen the work the coaches have put into these athletes this year, and I'm very optimistic that we will feel a strong team being at home. I think the coaches realize that the competition ahead would be faced, and I think they are putting in the work with the athletes to really, really represent the Bahamas well. And, you know, Bahamians are proud people, and we don't want to be out there looking bad. So the coaches are putting in the work along with the athletes. So I'm optimistic that we would have a strong team.
I think I'm pretty confident enough. I don't want to be overconfident, but I think looking back from my journey, from where I started, I think I'm okay. I'm confident I would qualify.
Switching gears to tennis news, while local tennis aces are thriving here in the capital, the Bahamas Lawn Tennis Association President Perry Newton shedding some light on challenges affecting some of the Family Island tennis programs.
Biggest challenge for the islands, it's sad to say, is facilities. Unlike New Providence, where, you know, in every community there's some type of park, or not every other community there's at least one tennis court. They don't have that luxury on the island. So if they have one court in a settlement or on an island, that's good. So that's the biggest challenge, is just a facility. Even if it's a public park, there's no tennis facilities on the island, so it's harder for tennis to grow. So we just utilize whatever's available. I know on the island of Abaco, you know, especially after Dorian, you know, a lot of the facilities there were devastated, but the team in Abaco is working very hard to restore to the best of their ability whatever they could salvage in terms of playable courts.
To the collegiate hardwood, a career night for Bahamian forward Sammy Hunter. The former junior national team standout had by far the best game of his college career. Last night against Bowling Green, Hunter would post 19 points to go along with 3 rebounds, 1 block, and 1 steal in 25 minutes of action. The Zips would win 74-70 over Bowling Green. Hunter would also go 4-6 from behind the arc. Surprising stat line as he'd come into the game shooting around 31%. The 6'9 junior forward is in his first year with the Zips after transferring from Ole Miss. On the season, he's averaging just under 7 points to go along with 4 rebounds in just under 18 minutes per game. And that's been Look at Your Sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Last Thanksgiving, immediate response went on the road to the Big Apple, New York City. Then, months later, we went to Houston, and now we're going on the road with immediate response to Atlanta, a major economic and cultural center with internationally famous businesses like Coca-Cola and CNN, along with professional sporting teams like the Atlanta Falcons, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Braves too.
Join me, the Bishop of Motivation,
suspense been listened as I interview outstanding, high-profile, and celebrated Bahamians in Atlanta.
Call your account executive or the ZNS sales department today to place your ads for 2 groundbreaking broadcasts from Atlanta, Georgia, live on the ZNS television and radio network. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
Colon cancer is the 3rd most common cancer affecting Bahamians. Your risk of developing colon cancer is increased if you have a personal history of colorectal cancer or colon polyps, a family history of colon cancer, or inflammatory bowel diseases such as ulcerative colitis. Other factors that can increase your risk of developing colon cancer are low fiber, high fat diets, a sedentary lifestyle, obesity, smoking, and alcohol. You can take steps to reduce your risk of colon cancer by making specific lifestyle changes. Eat a variety of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. These foods contain fiber, minerals, vitamins, and antioxidants, which may play a role in cancer prevention. Drink alcohol in moderation or not at all. Do not smoke. Exercise with a goal of getting in at least 30 minutes each day. If you've been inactive, start slowly and gradually build up to 30 minutes. Also, talk to your doctor before starting any exercise program. Maintain a healthy weight. If you're at a healthy weight, maintain it by combining a well-balanced diet with daily exercise. If you need to lose weight, ask your doctor about healthy ways to achieve your goal. Colon cancer screening can also help to prevent colon cancer or lead to its early detection when treatment is most effective. If you're 45 years or older, speak to your doctor about having a colonoscopy or some form of colon cancer screening that may be appropriate for you. I'm Dr. Eugene Marcus Cooper. Pay attention to your health. Get the facts and discuss colon cancer with your physician today.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
They fought for freedom. They fought for justice. They fought for equality. They fought for Bahamians. After years of struggle by freedom fighters, a defining moment in our evolution as a people was birthed. January 10th is a day that belongs to you. It belongs to me. It belongs to all Bahamians. Join us as we recall the historical events that led to majority rule beginning on Tuesday, January 10th through Friday, January 13th, only on the ZNS network.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we have an old washed-out frontal system across the southeast Bahamas, and that's providing some cloud cover, particularly around Crooked Island, Acklands, and the Mayagorna area, but that will continue to dissipate overnight, and high pressure remains in control as it continues to slide towards the east. That will pave the way for the arrival of a very strong cold front, which we expect to move into the northwest Bahamas on Friday. That should push through the capital by late Friday afternoon. Behind that, we expect some very, very cold temperatures. The winds will be picking up, and with the wind chill factor, we're going going to see some very, very chilly conditions on the weekend. Tonight, though, partly cloudy and very mild, 66 degrees for your low temperature. And tomorrow, it's going to be mostly sunny and quite pleasant, even though the temperatures are rising, getting up to about 80 degrees just ahead of the arrival of that frontal system. And your extended weather forecast, beautiful weather, but a bit on the warm side on Thursday, Friday, warm at first. But by afternoon, the clouds will roll in, showers developing along the frontal boundary. The front goes through, and we will see temperatures dropping from 80 degrees to 70 degrees for your high temperature on Saturday, and your low temperature just around 61 degrees. But when you factor in the strong winds associated with that, it's going to feel like temperatures in the 50s during the weekend. And as we head into the early part of next week, lots of sunshine returning to our forecast. Jimenita.
Thanks, Basil. Before we end, we want to wish our colleagues Juan Aubrey and Delilah Strap a very happy birthday from all of us here at ZNS. We hope both of you enjoyed your special day. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.